Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be doing a homework assignment actually. And in this homework assignment I will be covering the Industrial Revolution, the Holocaust, and World War II. So basically the scene that you are seeing right here is I'm gonna start off with the Industrial Revolution revolution. I'm gonna start with the Industrial Revolution, and I'm just showing you like a household people that just didn't have that much clothes, and that didn't back then. Before the Industrial Revolution, just because people didn't have that many clothes, that doesn't mean they were poor. That doesn't mean they were rich. It just meant that they just weren't lucky to get clothes. Because back then, people were only like able to get like one pair of clothes if they're lucky, actually, or two if they're like really lucky. So it was just crazy. So that's why I didn't put shoes on them or a hat, because I just kind of wanted to mimic that. And one of the main reasons why people didn't really get clothes is because, well, back then people were hand making the clothes. So it takes time and effort, and people get tired. So since people get tired like a lot, and they have to take breaks, Richard Sir Alright wanted to create a process that was faster. So he ended up making the first modern factory. So in this factory, basically, he had a clothes spinner that was kind of in a clock way. Like they used the clock technology to move it so it can be able to move and like make clothes. So he used that technology, which is also what they used for the water wheel. So yeah, he put those things together and decided to make a spinner, like an automatic spinner. So let's pretend this is a spinner right here. Minecraft doesn't have a spinner, so we're gonna pretend that's, for example. So since people started like having clothes and stuff, they started getting divided into classes, kind of. So what I mean by that, I don't mean like classroom classes, if that's what you think. But even though this is like an interesting class, very interesting. That's not what I meant actually. I meant this type of class. The type of class where people had houses and clothes and a lot of clothes and they were classified. Good classes were classified by their parents or who they were, their status. So whatever your status was, then that's how you get classified. Now, let's move on to something more sad actually. We're gonna start talking about the Holocaust, and I just want to say I was fortunate enough to actually meet, talk to, and listen to an actual Holocaust survivor. So I'm I'm not gonna really go off of anything that I read. I'm just gonna go off of a story that I heard from the Holocaust survivor that I was listening to. So I kind of recreated what he told us. So he told us that they had bunkers in the concentration camp, and the bunkers weren't comfortable. They didn't have like thick thick type covers to keep themselves warm. So they had to like kind of huddle together to keep their body warmth. Um, their food wasn't clean at all. They had spinach soup, and they also had potato soup. And the spinach soup was usually the most sturdiest because they didn't wash the food before they cooked it. So the spinach soup had a bunch of dirt in it, and it got a lot of people really really sick. So he told us that when he was in the concentration camp, he actually, like, whenever there was like new people joining, he actually was like, "Hey, you wanna switch?" Like he would switch the spinach soup with the potato soup, and he got the potato soup, and the newcomers got the spinach soup, and that was just so he won't get as sick. Because if he kept eating and eating that dirty spinach, then he would have gotten sick and probably wouldn't have survived. So also, he also told us that when they were in the concentration camp, they were only allowed to get one spoon and one bowl. If you lost either of those, you cannot get another one. They also didn't even get to take any baths or clean themselves ever since they left their families and went there. So they were just wearing the same clothes over and over. And also during this time, they had to make sure that they were up at the certain time, so when the guards come over they can inspect their beds. And what they basically were inspecting for, they wanted to make sure that each and every bed was neat and in order. So they gave everybody like a ruler, or it was a stick, I'm not sure, it was a stick that they gave them. And so basically they went to go check to make sure each and every bed was just straight, like the stick was straight, like flat. So if your bed wasn't completely flat, then you would get lashes. And basically lashes are very painful beatings that they used to give people. Um and also he told us that he decided to take the top bunk because they didn't really check the top bunk as much as they checked the bottom and second bunk, so it was a little bit safer. Even though it was so terrible. So let's move on to the next part. Now we're about to go into this room. I think this is before they took everybody to the concentration camp. They had a bunch of people in like one room. Like it was women, men, pregnant women. Like it was just like over 100 people in a tiny room. Like, can you imagine that? Just being in this tiny little room with a bunch of people. That just sounds terrible. Um, so since we talked about the Holocaust, let's kind of go into World War II, and they kind of like tie in together, obviously. So during World War II, I'm not sure what that is. Um, during World War II, so much people was being controlled in Europe. I mean, so much of Europe was controlled by Hitler. And so many people didn't want another war to happen, since there was already a first war. They didn't want another war, because since it didn't affect the United States, they didn't think that was like our problem. But I mean, as you know, World War II did happen, and I'm actually happy that it did happen, even though it's sad that it happened. But it's also a good thing because it brought so many people together and it saved so many people. Um, but not too long ago, the United States of America had the seventh largest army. I'm not sure that sound is. I'm sorry. Second largest army, and since they were recruiting people, they had to make sure that everybody was just you know, safe. So they wanted to, well, they couldn't really make sure everybody was safe, but they were trying their best to train the people. So they recruited men who were ages 21 years of age to 30. And like, keep in mind, a lot of them probably haven't even touched a gun or seen a real gun. So like, they had to get some serious training. Um so since they got that training, soon after their training, they had to fight. And 21 US ships were sunk, or damaged. 188 aircrafts were destroyed. And last but not least, 2,403 people were killed. And I just think that was just so sad because, they had to do it. They had to recruit. But very soon after that, Germany and Italy declared war on the United States. That was the only time actually, I wouldn't say Germany, Italy, it was really Hitler who declared war on the United States, and that was the only time he declared war on a nation, on any nation. Everyone was scared, so more more men enlisted to fight. I mean, who wouldn't be scared? I mean, I would definitely be scared if there was another war happening. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? Like, how long is this gonna last? Like, what's gonna happen? So since another war was gonna happen, more men enlisted into the war, which made the first, not the first, which made the largest war in history. Because keep in mind, there was already a bunch of people who recruited, and even more recruited to fight in World War II, which is just crazy. And it's also crazy how this only happened like 80 years ago, and because the speaker that was talking, he was 92. He was 92, and he was 12 when this all started. I just think this is crazy, and maybe I'll go more into depth, but basically he told us that he never even got to see his mom, and it was just such a heartbreaking story. I was just so glad I was able to hear it, even though it was like really, really sad. Um but yeah, so that was my history assignment for the revolution. The what's it called? The Industrial Revolution, the Holocaust, and World War II. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And let me just give like a little outlook of how I did everything. So I just put everything in like little rooms. Keep in mind, I did not have world edit, so this is all vanilla Minecraft. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye guys.